Good morning, students. We will start with this new chapter, force and pressure. So, the contents that we are going to discuss in this chapter, first we will discuss turning effect of the force, then we will discuss moment of force and thrust and pressure, liquid pressure and pressure exerted by gases, or we can say atmospheric pressure. So, let's start. So first of all, let's see what is force. So as you already knew since the many classes, the push and pull is known as the force. So force is a quantity which is used to change the state of the body. There are two states of an object. Either body can be at rest or body can be at motion. So in order to change the state of the body, the quantity which is required, that quantity is known as force. So here it is, a force is a push or pull or both. A force cannot be seen, but it can feel and observe the effects of the force. So what is the meaning of push? Push is to move an object away from our bodies, and pull is when we apply a force to move an object towards our body. So this is how we are exerting two types of forces, push and pull. So few examples of combination of push and pull: playing a guitar, scrubbing the floor, sawing of wood and rowing a boat. So these are the few examples related to push and pull. Now as we know that force is changing the state of the body, so let's discuss few effects of the forces that you have already studied in the previous classes. Let's review them. First effect of the force is it stops a moving object or makes a stationary object moves. So whenever suppose an object is kept on the floor, and if you want to move it, what you need to apply a force. Or suppose a vehicle is moving or some object is moving, if you want to stop that moving object, for that also what you need some force. Force can change the speed of a moving object. If a ball is moving at a certain speed and if you kick it, then definitely the speed of the object is going to change. Force can change the direction of the moving object. For example, whenever you are playing the football and the football is coming towards you, so if you place your foot in the path of the football, its direction is changed. Force can change the shape permanently or temporarily. For example, if you stretch a rubber band, suppose if you stretch a rubber band to a limit such that when you leave it, then it will regain its original shape. Or suppose if you hit a nail with a hammer, so what happens, it goes inside the wooden block and may or may not its shape can be changed. So force can change the shape permanently or it can change the shape temporarily. It depends upon the amount of the force. So here are a few examples, like pressing a switch, kicking a ball like we have discussed, then knocking a nail, launching of rocket and pushing of trolley. So these are the few examples that you must have seen in your daily life and on the televisions and on the which you must have observed in your daily life. Now as we have discussed, stretching of rubber band. So when you stretch a rubber band, afterwards its shape can be changed or its shape may not be changed. It depends upon the amount of force you exert. Then this is the sponge. So when you compress it, its shape changes, and when you leave it, it will regain its original shape. Third one is squeezing of spring, that you must have seen. When you squeeze it, it's all the coils comes together, and when you leave it, again it will regain its original shape. So this change of shape, original or temporary, depends upon amount of force, how much force you are exerting. If the force is too much, then definitely its shape is going to change permanently. So what are the units that are used to describe the force? The SI unit of force is known as Newton. It is named after the scientist Sir Isaac Newton. Now, what do you mean by 1 Newton? Suppose we want to define. So, 1 Newton is the force which is used to accelerate a body of 1 kg mass at a rate of 1 meter per second square. Few other units of force that are used. See, in CGS system, the unit of force is gram centimeter per second square, or we called it as Dyne. And in case of SI unit, the unit of force is known as Newton, and it is denoted by capital N. Okay, not by small n, it is denoted by capital N. So this is how you can describe a 1 Newton force. Suppose a mass of 1 kg is there, and if you are applying an acceleration of 1 meter per second square, acceleration means change of speed with respect to time, then in that case the force applied will be 1 Newton. One more important unit of force that is used conventionally and very frequently in the engineering problems, that unit is known as the kilogram force, and it is also known as the gravitational unit of force. So it is the force which, when acting on the body of 1 kg, produces in it an acceleration that is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. So this is how we define 1 kilogram force. When you move an object of 1 kg with an acceleration equal to acceleration due to gravity, that is 9.8 meter per second square, in that case the force which is acting on the body is measured in terms of kilogram force. So this is a relation between Newton and kilogram force. 1 kilogram force is equals to 9.8 Newton, or sometimes for our convenience we are taking this 9.8 as 10 Newton. Okay, so this is how you can define 1 kilogram force. Suppose the object is moving towards the surface with an acceleration of 9.8 meter per second square. In that case, the unit of force that we will use, that is known as kilogram force. Now, let's start with a very important topic of this chapter, that is turning effect of the force. So, few types of motion that you already knew. Whenever a body is moving in a free straight path, or when a force is acts on a free moving stationary rigid body, the body starts moving in a straight path in the direction of force. This is called linear or translational motion. For example, a ball is there, and if you start to push it, and we are assuming that this ball is rigid. Rigid means whenever you apply the force, there will be no change in shape or size of an object. So when you apply the force, or when you push this ball, it will start moving in the direction of the force. So this type of motion is known as translational motion. Few more examples are there. So these are the few examples of translational motion, that is whenever the body moves in the straight path in the direction of the force. In that case, the motion is linear or translational motion. Next is rotation. So as we already knew, rotation is the movement of the body in the circular path, and that movement is actually around the center or a point of rotation, and that point of rotation or center is known as the pivot. So see in this figure, a spinner is there, so it is moving, it is rotating about this axis, which is black color point. It is the axis of this spinner, and it is rotating about this axis. So this type of motion is known as rotational motion. Or one more example, where you already knew the rotation of earth. It takes 24 hours for the earth to rotate, and it is rotating about its own axis. Now suppose a body is pivoted at a point, and you apply the force at a suitable point. In that case, the body starts to rotate about the axis passing through the pivoted point. So this is the rotational motion, and it can be referred as the turning effect of the force. For example, if you see a spanner is there and it is used to unbolt this. So this is the pivot, this point is the pivot, and this is where you are applying the force. So when you apply the force, what happens? It starts to move in the clockwise direction and this spanner is turning about this pivot. So it is actually producing the moment of the force, and this is also known as the turning effect of the force. So in order to produce the turning effect, what we need? We need a force. This is the force and it should be perpendicular to the pivot, and we need a certain distance from the pivot to the point of application of the force. So this is how we can produce the turning effect by the force. Okay, one more example is there, a merry-go-round you must have seen. So a person is applying a force from here and it is applying perpendicular to this direction and it is at a certain distance from the pivot. So in that case, he is producing turning effect of the force, due to which it starts to rotate about this pivot or about this axis. So this is also one of the example of turning effect of the force. Now the factors which affect the turning effect of the body. First is magnitude of a force applied. So like we have seen in the previous slide, you are applying in case of this, suppose this was the merry-go-round. So in order to rotate it, you need a certain amount of force. If the force is not enough, then it will never start rotating. And what next point is the distance of the line of action of the force from the axis of the rotation. So distance is also very important. If no distance is there, in that case there will be no turning effect of the body. For example, let's see a few examples. So here is the spanner and it is turned anti-clockwise to loosen a nut, while it is turned clockwise to tighten a nut. So if you bring this force from here to here, so what happens? It will not start rotating and you will not be able to tighten, or you are not being able to loosen the nut. Why? Because in that case you have reduced the perpendicular distance to 0. So again force is needed as well as perpendicular distances or distance of line of action of the force from the pivot is needed. So by the force is applied normally at the end of its normal, means force should be perpendicular. Okay, it should not be like this. It should be completely perpendicular and it should have a certain distance from the point of or pivot. Now one more very familiar example that you must have seen in your daily to daily life. In order to open or shut a door, we are applying a force in terms of push or pull, and that force is applied normal to the handle P. Suppose this is the handle P and it is at the largest distance from the hinges. That is why it is easier to open this door from this handle. Now if you move your point of application of the force from P to Q, suppose, so what happens in that case? When you apply, this distance is reduced. So in that case you have to apply the greater force as comparison to the force you are applying at P. And if you suppose move your point of application of force to R, then what happens? The distance between the point of application of the force and the pivot becomes 0. So you will not be able to open the door. So this is why we have to take care those two factors whenever we are applying the turning effect. First one is the force, definitely force is needed. Then second one is distance of the point of application of force from the pivot. If we keep these 2 points in the mind, then we are definitely able to open this door, or we are definitely able to apply the turning effect very easily. Okay, next example. If you see this hand floor grinder, you must have seen, or you may not have seen. So a handle is provided near its rim. so that it can be rotated easily about the iron pivot at the center by applying a small force. So again, if you move this handle from here to the pivot, then it is difficult, or it will not be, you will not be able to rotate this stone grinder, and there will not be any action which is taking place. So again, what two things were required? First one is you should apply a force, and that should be perpendicular to it, and this force should be at a certain distance from the pivot. So this is how you can produce the turning effect in this hand floor grinder. Then for turning a steering wheel, you must have, whenever someone is driving a car, so what he is doing, he is applying a force from here to here like this. Okay, this force is actually known as moment of couple. So in that case, this is how you are applying the force, tangential force, and this is the distance. This is the distance between, this is your pivot, and this is the distance between your point of application of the force and the pivot. So due to this distance and application of the force, you can easily apply the turning effect of the force, and due to which you can either rotate this steering wheel in the anti-clockwise direction or in the clockwise direction depending upon our need. So this is one of the example of turning effect of the force. Then a very familiar one again, you must be riding on the bicycle. So whenever you are riding on the bicycle, in that case, this is the force, this is the pivot, and when you apply the force, what happens? This force becomes tangential and it becomes perpendicular to this pivot, and this axle starts to move. This sprocket starts, and with this chain starts to move, and the cycle moves in the forward direction. So toothed wheel is rotated by applying less force on the foot pedal, which is at a large distance from the axle of the wheel. So again, force must be at a certain distance from the pivot, and the force should be sufficient enough. So if the distance is sufficient, then you have to apply a very less force in order to produce the turning effect of this force. Now next is, what is moment of a force? So consider a body pivoted at this point, and you are applying a force horizontally on the body. So this force does not produce linear motion of the body, as it is not free to move. Okay, for example, we have already seen many examples now. The example of the door, so this is the hinge of the door, and this is the end of the door from where you are applying the force. So when you apply the force, what happens? It starts to okay, so moment of force, whenever you apply a force at a perpendicular distance from the pivot, in that case the body will start rotating and it will not produce the linear motion. So when we talk about the moments, there are two types of moment. First is clockwise moment. So suppose this is the pivot and force is applying in this direction. So what happens? This bar will rotate in this clockwise direction. And second type of moment is anti-clockwise moment. So suppose the body is sitting here, or force applied in this direction. So what happens? The body will start rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. So in this way we can apply the turning effect of the force, and there will be two types of those type of moments. One is anti-clockwise and one is clockwise moment. So when a force causes an object to turn in clockwise direction, it is known as clockwise movement. So if you see very carefully this photograph, in this the girl sits on a seesaw and her weight is the force which is exerted on the seesaw. So in that case, the force will act here and this body is going to start rotating in the clockwise direction. So this is the clockwise movement. Okay, you must have experienced whenever you are sitting on the seesaw. Then similarly, in case of anti-clockwise movement, suppose a girl sits here and her weight is the force which is exerted on the seesaw. So due to which this weight, it will start rotating in this direction. So this is anti-clockwise movement. So this is how you can see the anti-clockwise or clockwise movement, and you can experience it if you sit on this seesaw. Then you can see where is the clockwise movement and where is the anti-clockwise movement. So the turning effect of the force acting on the body about an axis is due to the moment of force. So this is known as moment of force. What is the formula of moment of force? It is the force into perpendicular distance between force and the pivot, or F into D. And the SI unit of moment we will use as Newton for the force and meter for the distance. So its SI unit will be Newton meter. So this is why we have seen that turning effect of the force depends on two factors, that is force and perpendicular distance. So here is the mathematical expression from which you can easily deduce, or you can easily conclude that why the moment of the force or turning effect of the force depends on force and perpendicular distance. If force is 0, definitely moment is 0, and if distance is 0, if this body moves here to the pivot, then distance becomes 0. That means there will be no moment. So now the SI unit of moment of force is Newton meter. In the gravitational terms, in the gravitational unit, the MKS unit is kilogram force meter, because the gravitational unit of force we are taking as kilogram force, and in the CGS unit it is Dian centimeter. So 1 Newton meter is equals to 10 raised to the power 7 Dian centimeter, or 1 kilogram force meter is equals to 9.8 Newton meter. So this is it. This is the end of our first video, and for any doubt you can ask me. Remaining topics we will discuss in the next week. Thank you.